building sound Catholic homes. Forgiveness may sound very difficult.
Forgiveness is the glue that keeps love from falling apart. Let's learn to forgive our spouses, our children. Just learn to forgive.
Good day and welcome to another episode of Rooted in Faith. Today we'll be talking about child abuse and molestation, preventive measures. Ephesians 6 verse 4 tells us not to drive our children to resentment. Is there a way that can help us with child abuse and molestation? My name is Dr. Mary Adehi. With me, I have...
Good evening, everyone. Sylvia Obi, Esquire.
Nkechi Morin Aya, Esquire. Ijoma Okoro, Esquire.
Wow. So I'm lucky to have lawyers around me today. Yes, you will accept that indeed this topic would need some legal backing. And I believe that we'll be answering some of the questions that our audience would want to hear today. So let us begin to think. I think the first thing we should be looking at is, what is child abuse? What is molestation? Before we begin to navigate into preventive measures, isn't it? So let us talk about child abuse and molestation. What is child abuse? What is molestation?
Okay. Child abuse. When the parents, in simple terms, when a parent or a caregiver or any other adult carries out an act that brings harm to a child.
Harm. Yeah, I like that you're mentioning harm. Yeah, okay.
It could be physical,
Yeah.
it could be emotional,
Yeah.
it could be
Psychological.
psychological.
Yeah.
But once there is a harm, is an abuse to that child. We talked about molestation. Molestation is a form of child abuse that involves sexual abuse.
Okay, so when we go into molestation, then it means we're now talking about sexual abuse, particularly. Okay, but when we talk about abuse in general, it's about harm to that child in whatever form, even if it's emotional. Okay. Yeah, even neglect, because that can affect the emotional well-being of that child. Okay, and this kind of abuse, molestation, does it come from parents? Where does it come from? Because we need to know the source, because our audience would definitely want to know, where would it come from? Is it just from within? Can it come from outside?
This form of molestation can come from anybody. That's why most times we prefer to tell parents to be more proactive than reactive, because who you give unrestricted access to your children can affect them. It can come from even a very closely related person. It can come
That
from
is already living with the family.
with you.
Yeah,
It can
living with
come-
the family.
It can come from the school.
Okay.
It can come even from your religious institution. It can come from
And that's
anybody
so
in the
painful
society.
when it has to come from a religious institution,
And for this,
because you think your child is safe there.
yes.
Okay.
And then for this period, why even online, their interaction online with certain strangers
We're in
can
an artificial
involve,
intelligence world.
it can
Yeah.
involve into that
So
molestation.
we
where
also
we get-
probably would need to monitor what our
Yes,
children
exactly.
do online.
You see, unfortunately, in this kind of crime, abuse, trust is weaponized.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately the child may not be matured enough to know
To speak out.
to know when a relative is causing harm to him. already the child believes this is my cousin.
Yeah.
This is
The child is vulnerable.
Yes.
When that child is with a relation
Yes.
or a close friend to the family.
Giver.
Okay.
I witnessed a scenario.
Okay.
A caregiver, the house help to the mother, was the one that molested this child. In this case, it was a boy,
Okay.
but around 9 years then.
Okay. So sexual molestation. This is now molestation. Okay.
The mother's house help, when no one was around, molested that boy, and in fact asked the boy to suck her.
Wow.
Can you imagine what that means?
Exposing the child.
Exposing the child. This is so sad.
So sad. In the same house you live in. It's not like the child was taken to another place.
Yeah.
So that is it.
And you know how these things can also play out. These children have probably grown and seen these people around them often.
Yeah.
So
So
they
they
don't
feel
feel
safe
yes,
around
they
them.
feel safe
That's why I
around
said
them.
it's weaponized.
Yeah.
They feel safe around these personalities, and then some of these abusers, because sometimes they are way older, they use threats, they weaponize threats, they instill fear in that child. If you say this to your parents, this would happen, I would go after you, or certain things will happen, and the child is
Becomes
so scared.
very scared.
So you, as the parents or the school authority or whoever is in charge, because the duty is placed on the society,
Yeah.
religious institutions,
Yeah.
school authorities,
Yeah.
parents, the duty is placed from the Child's Act,
Yeah.
which is a relevant authority which provides for this, for you to look out for children. So you have to also be smart enough to understand certain things. There are signs which you shouldn't ignore.
And then parents may need to be more available for the children.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
The parents are the first
Caregivers.
caregivers.
Yeah.
They are the protectors. They
Yeah.
are the ones that will empower the children. Most of our children are naive.
Yeah.
They don't know when they are being abused. They don't even know. I've had a conversation with a group of people, and they didn't know they were abused until they were grown. They know that something was going on with them and some certain people. They know it's not
Right.
normal or it's not right, but they didn't know how to
Come out. Speak out.
explain.
Yeah.
This is the experience I had. This is what happened. So how do they tell people this if they don't even know what it is? So I think parents should empower their children. Tell them things. Don't leave your children naive. That's allow them know. Yes.
And speak out.
I speak
You also
exactly.
mentioned emotional abuse. I want to believe that probably will be from parents to children.
Not just you.
Okay. All right.
Parents, you can see some parents consistently criticizing a child. Maybe you believe this child is not doing
That was why I mentioned driving your children to resentment. Yeah.
That's precisely the
Yeah.
a child is a child.
Because the child being able to speak out will mean that the child is free with you as a parent.
That's it.
Am I right?
Yes,
Uh-huh.
that's exactly
So
what I
if the
wanted to
child is
say.
not free with you as a parent, then you may lose everything. You may not know when anything is happening to that child.
Sometimes they feel free to speak to their teachers about it
And their
because they are uncomfortable with their mothers. There are some children that are not free with their mothers because every time they have that interface with their
Conversation,
mother,
yeah.
conversation, it always ends with, "Are you crazy? Are you mad?" So they feel that
They're withdrawn.
telling things. So
Yeah.
it pushes them to
That's the
their friends.
emotional
It
abuse.
pushes them
So
to their friends.
we may actually be abusive of our children emotionally without knowing
Without
it.
knowing it.
Because in your mind, you are creating some kind of discipline,
Yes.
but then you may be doing it overboard,
Yes.
isn't it? So as parents, as mothers, as fathers, we should make ourselves friends with our children so that we give them that opportunity to be able to come to tell us everything. We should be the first people, they come to be able to tell us something. And then it's also nice that, our viewers know if there are legal steps that can be taken in situations where it is molestation.
Yeah, I think we should look at the early signs first.
Okay.
We will come to that.
Okay.
But there are warnings, early warnings,
Okay.
that is very, very important for parents to know.
Such as.
So that you detect an abuse.
Okay, so can you list some of them? Can you mention even one or two? Those early signs. What are those things you will find in your children
And you
that will make you know that
Exactly.
this child
Yeah,
may be
yeah.
suffering abuse? Because we're in a world where you wake up now and children tell you that I am depressed.
It's true. Without giving
It has become common knowledge.
It's true.
You understand? Children will tell you I'm depressed, and you're like, I mean, from where did you get that word?
Yes.
I mean, what's making you depressed? Because in our days, you know, I mean, what do you mean? What do you mean by I'm depressed?
I feel
Mm.
many children that have
Yes.
been abused do not speak immediately out of
Okay.
fear,
Okay.
and
They become withdrawn.
yes.
Okay, so first of
signs.
all, they could be withdrawn,
Yes.
right?
So
Okay.
signs that parents should look out for, or rather I'll say adults, because we
Okay.
will not have to streamline this to just parents.
Yeah.
Now, withdrawal and depression. A child
Okay.
withdraws, a child that you know on a good day is very active, withdraws,
Okay.
doesn't, withdraws back into their cocoon.
So as a parent, you should
Fear-
pay quick attention
Yes.
to that.
Fear of
Child withdrawn.
Okay.
fear of certain adults. An adult that will come around and you're jumping to the person, and then the child sees that child and that adult
And is
withdraws.
withdrawing, yeah.
Yes.
At times, an unexplained injury.
Okay. So that's another one. The
Physical
child
injury.
probably has a bruise on the face or
Exactly.
somewhere.
Or
Okay.
even when you're betting her, she's winking with pain.
Okay, for the
It's
smaller
fine for
ones.
the smaller ones.
Yes.
Why? Did anybody touch you? Why are
Okay.
you in pain?
Okay.
These are early
Okay.
signs.
Okay.
And when the child is no longer doing well, low performance in school,
Suddenly.
all of a
That's the third one.
Exactly.
Okay.
When a child was doing well,
The
and all of
performance
a
just
sudden
suddenly drops.
drops
Okay.
drastically,
Yeah.
and the child
The
will-
molestation may even be from school.
Yes. Even from church, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
Even from
And even fear of being left alone. Maybe you're being left
Yeah,
alone with
it's
your
another
sister,
warning.
brother, and uncle, and then this time around they are going to drop off the child, and the child is screaming, "No, no, 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 no!" I
fear
want to."
generally,
Yes.
Yeah.
anxiety.
Yeah.
Sometimes it also shows in violence. The child might be violent.
Yes.
Okay, the child becomes violent. So that's a fourth one, isn't it?
Yeah.
So the child becomes violent.
Yeah.
And that child was not like that before. Okay.
And another one, bedwetting,
Really?
nightmares.
Okay.
At times, you see the child that was not initially having nightmares. He will be shouting in the dream
Really?
and everything. Nightmares. An extreme case of molestation can lead to
Yeah.
bedwetting,
Unattended.
unattended,
Wow.
anxiety. And these things are not good for the mental health.
Wow. That you know, it's beginning to feel scary, isn't it?
It's
I can
actually-
imagine our viewers saying this is quite scary.
It's actually
You know, maybe
scary.
their child is already having some nightmares and things like that. Don't lose your thoughts. We were with you. Let's go on a very short break and we'll be back shortly. Are you ready to transform your home into a beacon of faith, love, and unity? One where children, in line with Ephesians 6:2-3, honor their parents and are blessed. One where husband is the Proverbs 13 reality and wife is Proverbs 31 model. We will help you discover such and more as we introduce Rooted in Faith to help women build sound Catholic homes. Watch Rooted in Faith. Thank you, viewers, for staying glued to the TV. I believe that we are answering some of your questions. Now, Okoro Ijoma, you were saying something. Can you take us from there?
Okay, I think the last thing I said was that a child who is abused, some of the early signs. I mentioned bedwetting.
Okay. Okay.
Nightmares.
Okay.
High blood pressure.
So if we just a child who has not been bedwetting just suddenly wets the bed,
I'm telling you.
we shouldn't start beating that child.
We should.
We shouldn't start beating that child. Maybe something is wrong. So or the child just wakes up suddenly and is screaming and tells you that I had a horrible dream.
That child.
Okay.
Pause. And then ask yourself, what has gone wrong?
And prayer.
Pray. this child was not like this. Begin to ask the child questions.
Yeah.
Why I mentioned this, I saw the practical aspect of it. There is a girl child.
Okay.
When this happened, the mother didn't notice.
Okay.
In fact, in her own case, there was penetration.
Wow.
Yes. When we come to preventive, I will mention this case. It's happened in her mother. In her own case, there was penetration. And the mother still did not notice. And that child kept quiet. She didn't mention it.
Maybe out of fear.
Maybe fear. She didn't know what to
Definitely not free with her mother.
say. Yeah, that made sense. That's all.
Or scared.
Or ignorance.
Okay.
Because sometimes if you don't even know what it is, how do you explain it?
Yeah.
You just know something wrong happened to you. How do you
And
explain
it's actually happening to you from somebody you trust.
Exactly.
You know, as a family member. You know, so you no longer see it as a dangerous
Interesting.
So child after some time started bedwetting and everything. So the mother was much later. Examinations, they started asking the child, and the child said,
Wow.
Mommy, it is
Wow.
they traced it to it.
Yeah. Now, can we begin to look at some of the preventive measures? Because again, when we look at child abuse, we look at molestation, parents actually have a major role.
Yes.
Okay? Because this abuse definitely would have started from somewhere. I believe that where you are close to your children, where you listen to your children, where you're supportive of your children, it may be more difficult for us to experience child abuse in the home or experience molestation. Well, I stand to be corrected.
Yes.
So if you think that is the situation, let's begin to look at it now. How do we begin to think out measures, to prevent them?
Yeah, I think this is the most important aspect of this, because there's a saying that prevention is better. Now they say it's cheaper than cure.
Exactly.
And I agree.
Indeed, cheaper.
It's cheaper.
Yes,
And prevention is better than damage control.
Exactly.
that's true. Yeah.
It works as a mother, particularly young mothers, because we're talking about children. So older mothers maybe have gone past that stage.
Yeah.
So particularly young mothers, start with open communication at a very
Young
early
girl.
stage.
Yeah. I remember somebody once said that if your children are in the room and they're enjoying themselves, they're gisting, they're talking and all of that, you just come and lie down on their bed and join them in conversation.
Sure.
Exactly.
Just create that freedom.
Exactly. So
you
they
know,
will feel
so they
free.
begin to get close
Get
to you.
close.
Now know I can tell mommy
Simple.
certain things.
Yeah.
Begin to tell that child parts of her bodies.
Exactly.
Let the child learn
Yeah.
by name.
Exactly.
This is your breast. This is your this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are yes,
The atomic names, the real names.
teach him or her private areas.
Yeah.
And don't nickname it.
No.
Don't nickname it. Call it by name. And let that child understand that this part is private.
Yeah. And even
And if
though
you have a right to say no.
yeah.
That's the boundary rule.
Yes.
But coming near your private part.
Yeah.
And also teach your children to decipher which touch is appropriate and which one is
Yes.
not.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Simpler form, we say good touch or bad touch. How does it make them feel?
Some parents,
Unsafe and safe talk.
Yes.
and then for some parents, they should restrain themselves from pushing a child. Now your wife will go and sit on the lap. You see an adult like a man will say, okay,
Yeah.
man calls the little girl my wife.
Yeah.
No.
Woman calls the little boy my husband.
Yeah.
And you're saying, go and greet him now, sit on his laps. You don't have any business with pushing your
That's very inappropriate. That's very, very inappropriate.
Say that, this thing about loving our children, Proverbs 13:24 tells us that if we spare the rod, You understand? We would spoil the child, isn't it?
Mhm.
And most of us think, we should just keep pampering our children and things like that. And then sometimes balancing this can make it a little difficult
Yes.
because you can't beat a child every time.
Mhm.
You can't make up your mind to scold a child every time.
Oh,
Because once you do that, that child will definitely go into a shell. And where that child should speak out to say, oh, mommy, this happened, that happened. The child say, if I tell mommy, mommy will beat me.
Yes, you silence them.
Or mommy
True.
will shout at me.
True.
You understand?
Mhm.
So while we are doing this job of parenting, we must know how to manage the rod
Yes.
and let children know that there are times they need to speak out.
And then parents should also understand that when children speak out, you listen to them.
Yeah.
Don't tell them, why would you say that about Uncle Chike? Go and sit down. No. Listen to them. Don't
Yeah.
be, what we call living in denial.
True.
In your
True.
brain. He cannot do that. He
Yeah.
cannot do that. So listen to your
And
children.
then
Don't silence them.
For school, what do we do? Because we're talking of preventive
Yeah,
measures now. What do we do with schools?
Yeah.
Okay.
To school.
Okay.
Still want to talk about supervision.
Okay.
Is a preventive measure. Something happened. Let me not mention the case because it was reported to us.
Okay.
A plumber came to a house, it's a block of flats, to treat something in the next flat. And this child moved from her mother's flat to that flat where the plumber was working. The first day she went, the second day, the third day. The first day, she was gisting with the plumber as the plumber was working. And the plumber was touching her breast.
Wow.
I don't know if she was enjoying it because she didn't talk.
She was enjoying it.
It depends on the child's age. It depends on the child's age because
Creates an inner man.
corporate touch, yes.
They were touching her, she didn't talk. The next day, and when I brought in the issue of supervision, nobody noticed. She was there from 10 till around 3, 4. The mother is a civil servant. No, it was during holidays.
Okay.
And then the plumber finished and left. The second day she went.
It's gradual.
It was the third day that the plumber now had carnal knowledge of her.
Yeah, talk about some of us mothers that are quite careless. That's the truth. Because at every given time, yes, we know that it might not be possible to always know this is where my child is. But you see, from 10 till 3, your child is out there with a plumber. It's terrible. Yes. So the supervision issue is very important. Yeah.
Tell your children, don't go out, don't do this. Yes, they are kids, they might want to do something different. But
Yeah.
I feel if you instill that discipline in them, communicate effectively. If you go out and do this, see what the dangers are out there. You could encounter this, you can encounter this. So even if the child is going out there, they are not surprised.
Yeah.
They see it or sense it. You see them running back home. Oh, mommy told me about this. I was warned about this. Oh, this is what I was warned about. You see them going back.
Yeah. And I think we should also practice reward.
Yeah.
You know, we should be able to really commend our children when we think they've done things well. I think it has a way of encouraging them to do more.
That's true.
They will not want to fail us, right? So you must also find a way to be able to tell your child, oh, well done. In fact, I remember there's this lady who tells us, look, once you see your child, say, God bless you. You're praying for that child. You see your child, God bless you. Oh, you did so well today. Thank you so much for, doing well for the family. God bless you. I think when we do those things, it helps the child stay in check. It helps the child know that, look, I need to live up to expectation.
True.
Yes. It builds their self-esteem. That's true.
But we should go a step further.
Yeah.
The days are evil.
Yeah.
As the scripture says.
Yeah.
You don't just tell the child what to do and relax.
Yeah.
No.
Do you follow up?
Yes.
And we should also pray for them.
Yes.
It's so
Very
important. There's
important.
power in prayer. I remember there was once a lady who, though it was not a situation of molestation or abuse, but she went out and of course she was going to get into trouble with a ritualist. Now, the mother was at home and just praying for that child. She just didn't know why it happened.
Okay.
You know, in this day of phones, if your child's picture just pops up, please pray for that child. So she prayed, and guess what? That was what saved that daughter. She said they just got to a point and she just looked around and said, who is she going with? She had passed her house already. So she didn't know who she was. Apparently, somebody had spoken to her, shown her a paper. She looked at it and said, following the person. So it was mother's prayer that made her come back to her senses. So we must always pray for our children.
Yes.
You know, we should have short slogans that serve as prayers for our children. You have done so well today. My God will bless you.
And coupled with the
And
fact
such
that
things.
we have Gen Alphas now that want to know the why.
Yeah.
Always ask why. Don't do this. Why?
Yes.
So
Yes.
don't just be explicit when you're telling them things.
They need an explanation.
Yes. Don't do, if this happens, this results to this and all of that. And I want
Now,
to say,
I said something
Yes.
at the beginning that I'm so blessed to have lawyers around me.
Yes.
You see, our viewers want to hear the legal support they have in situations of molestation and child abuse. In the Western world, we know you can't even beat your child so much that the child will go into some emotional situations because the police will have you, right? But Nigeria, I believe it's a little different. So tell our viewers, because we're about to round up. So tell our viewers something that will be kind of supportive legally, and even if it is biblical. Okay, so I'll start with Aya.
Okay, I want to say child abuse is a crime, it's not a family matter. You don't hide it as trying to prevent shame or family reputation or otherwise. Even if the abuser is an influential person, some people hide it because of their cultural background and religion. Is a crime. There is an act, the Child Rights Act, that oversees the abuse, exploitation, and violence against children. And the Child Rights Act provides for family courts. We have family courts even in Abuja. There are series of relevant authorities. The first in time, police.
And they give pro bono service.
Yes, the police. There's a gender unit. There's a gender unit in the police. You can report. Yes. And the thing I want to say from the legal perspective, you know, for lawyers, you build your case by evidence. You would not have undergo such abuse and you tell the child, go and shower, change clothes, come out. No, you have to take the child to a doctor to get a medical report because we build on observation, evidence before we look at protection and justice.
Okay. For instance,
Yes. So
so they can extract some of those.
such relevant authorities, like I said, for the police, there's a gender unit. Then we go further to have family courts. Then we have NAPTIP.
Okay.
We have women affairs. They have social welfare. Yes, they can go to.
Okay.
Yes, can go to report to seek help and protection.
Okay.
You know, because sometimes the child is under threat and the child is not safe.
Okay.
So they have to move the child from that particular space.
All right. So Ijoma, do you have any last minute word for our viewers?
Viewers, please, let us take supervision very seriously. Let us not just leave it to the caregiver. If possible, put a CCTV. Assuming there was a CCTV in that house, the mother would have noticed that that child was awake for 7 hours at a stretch. And so the third day, that penetration would have avoided.
Okay. Sylvia, do you have some last minute words for our viewers?
Yes, I do. As mothers, as caregivers, let us look out for our children. And if you've been abused, do not give up. Jesus loves you and you have a wonderful future. That trauma or that abuse will not define you. You live and above it. So Jesus loves you.
I would say to our viewers that apart from God, we can do nothing. So in all of this, let us commit our families to prayer and always depend on God for His support to help us to grow our children. Thank you for staying with us and have a lovely day until our next episode. Thank you.
You are watching CTV